Hello out there in the crypto world. Today, we've got some new news on what's going on in the crypto world. Some exciting stuff. What's that mean for us? Well, we know that Bitcoin's maintained above the 60,000 mark. Ethereum's still hovering above that 3,700 mark. And we know that the SEC has approved the first publicly traded NFT that's listed on the New York Stock Exchange as we speak. What's that mean for the crypto world? Where's crypto going? Who is buying the crypto and causing this buoyancy to exist? And what's that mean to us? Stay tuned. Let's dig into this together. Okay, so grab your mate, your coffee, your tea, whatever you're going to do. Sit down. We got to go through some things together here. Let's jump on the screen right away. Let's look at what we're holding at here. Bitcoin, it's holding above 61,000, almost 62,000 still. You got Ethereum hovering just under 3,800, right? 3,800. Cardano's down to 215. There's, a lot of people are asking, why is Cardano not rising up like the rest of the crypto world, the crypto market is? Well, there's reasons for that, and we'll get into that in another video. But we think that Cardano, we'll repeat it later on, is one of those gems to be still looking at. Tether, we're going to talk about what happened to Tether today, this week, I should say. XRP still there. Polkadot at 41.69. Polkadot is definitely something that we are bullish on as well. XRP, but XRP, is yet to withstand the SEC rulings because SEC considers them to be a tradable, like a share, right? So that they actually will then fall under SEC scrutiny more than other tokens or coins will. Solana still ranging around the 160 mark, definitely down from where they were a few months ago. And then Polkadot, good old Polkadot here at the 41s, in Dogecoin, I should say. Dogecoin, people are like relishing in Dogecoin right now. Elon Musk came out and said something else, and I really don't like when these whales come out and they try to move the market like they do. I'd be glad with Musk just kind of like it remains neutral on it. It'd be good when we have enough control of this market that it doesn't affect what we do. We need to have enough educated people in the market to help stabilize this market, not people that are just running. Now, educated people does not mean financial institutions, right? I don't feel that they're necessarily educated. They are with an agenda. Let's go through and see what's really going on here in the world of crypto lately. The global cryptocurrency market cap hits $2 trillion, returning to an all-time high. So does that mean it's time to buy? Well, you make that call. Remember the rule of thumb, though? Buy low, sell high. Now, that selling high is not necessarily good for the crypto market. So some people think that point when cryptocurrency Bitcoin hits 63,000, it has some sort of a differential with gold. And there's a calculation that then financial institutions are believed to be triggering. So when Bitcoin last broke that mark, there was a huge sell-off. So could that sell-off come again? It's possible. We got a lot of regulation coming down the road. And I'm just going to say something right now that be very cautious going forward. We'll give a few recommendations what we're going to do going forward. Are we buying right now? Not necessarily buying right now. Are we creating other ways to obtain cryptocurrency right now? Yes. And there are alternative ways in which you can create cryptocurrency, such as mining and the different types of mining that exist. I know that mining has this huge taboo, and we're going to talk about that right now too, about the misconception of mining, for example, Ethereum and Bitcoin mining, how it's not friendly to the environment. And New York State is actually making a ridiculous statement about that here in the last few days. So here we go. We hit a $2 trillion market high, meaning that more people or more institutions are beginning to invest in cryptocurrency. What's interesting on that point, though, is that with all regulation coming down, right, you're seeing more movement from single investors like us, as well as institutional investors. And you'd think that will almost shy them away, meaning, though, that there is this light at the end of the tunnel here, that even though more regulation is coming down, it is not going to try to destroy cryptocurrency or Bitcoin in particular. Why? It's obvious. The governments need the money, the revenue. They want to tap into it. They want to get into it and take it for themselves, just like they did in the banking industry years ago. It's no different. Do your history. You'll see it for yourself. Now let's go through here. With this news, we're going to tell you what we've got, and we're going to give you our point of view on this. Remember, we are not financial advisors. We are here to help you understand and educate. We share with you where we're investing, what we're doing. We are very bullish on crypto, and we think crypto has a future to it. We're especially bullish on DeFi, the decentralized finance market, and not extreme regulation. Some say, well, we have to kind of meet in the middle. Well, that meeting in the middle does not result well down the road. It always results to banks say, meet in the middle. It's like, just like the Fed chairman has said of the SEC in the United States, come, let's talk. And when they come and talk, they slap them with fines. Let's go through some of this a little more. Watch this. Look at this. Let's dig into this. All right, ProShares Bitcoin ETF to debut on the New York Stock Exchange on October 19th. There's actually going to be a debut tomorrow on the New York Stock Exchange, where an ETF, electronic funds transfer in cryptocurrency, in Bitcoin, is now permissible under the Securities and Exchange Commission of the United States of America. First time, historic. So many people are celebrating. Woohoo! However, be careful. We'll get into that right now. Let's jump here. Jack Dorsey, and this is why you got to be careful. Because now what's going to happen is they're going to start centralizing everything in cryptocurrency and controlling cryptocurrency. And you've got somebody like Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, and also of his other company, which is a payment type of a structure, right? Let's go through here and see what he says here. Jack Dorsey wants you to mine Bitcoin with a new imaginary gizmo. He's got something in the head he wants to do to create a way that people can get involved with mining Bitcoin, and not just these ASIC miners now that seem to be hoarding the industry of mining Bitcoin. He wants to spread the wealth because he says he cares about us. Well, it's kind of ironic because Twitter doesn't care about us. They only care about their agenda. So many are concerned that Jack Dorsey really just wants to create this under something that his company, Square, can control, which would mean that he's using the plot. It's about us. It's blockchain. It's the community of the people, just to bring us in so that then we are controlled under this spreading of wealth. Well, spreading of wealth will also mean that something's got to give there, with the history of Jack Dorsey and Twitter even eliminating the president of the United States of America because he didn't like his agenda. So we know what side of the table Jack Dorsey sits on. And I, for one, do not want Jack Dorsey controlling where we or you do our mining in Bitcoin mining. Yeah. Is there a market-controlled area, I should say, a dominant area in the market of Bitcoin? The Chinese do dominate that. And to think that they're not going to dominate anymore is to live in a world with blinders on. Because the CCP, the Communist Party, is not going to give up that revenue. They need the revenue to enforce their agenda. Communism, socialism, whatever you're trying to enforce, it requires income. So you're going to have that. So let's go through here now. I'm not a big fan of Jack Dorsey, but this is what he wants to do. Jack Dorsey laid out his vision for Bitcoin mining on Twitter last week. Okay, he said he said if he gets his way, the hardest part will be finding somewhere to plug in his new rig. Dorsey says that the system, which currently exists only in his head, it's imaginary, but he has the money to develop this, that's what's scary, would be for individuals and businesses. How kind of him. And build along the same lines as Square hardware wallet for Bitcoin. So in other words, it's going to be somewhere along those same lines as Square Wallet or part of Square Wallet. That is to say, Square would develop it in collaboration with the crypto community. Okay, so Square's going to develop it, and they're going to collaborate with us. I have to say, people, please don't jump into the boat that's already sunk you before. Be cautious here. Let's go on. Here's some good news. Look at this. Amid ongoing growth in cryptocurrency adoption worldwide, countries like Indonesia and Chile have seen significant influx in public interest in cryptocurrencies, such as Bitcoin. Look here, Indonesia has had a 575% increase year to date. Chile, 707. Argentina, 315% year to date of people now investing in cryptocurrencies. And not only that, let's jump on this. Brazil's central bank report, citizens purchased $4.2 billion in cryptocurrency thus far in 2021. Look, this is why the need to really understand and educate ourselves in the crypto world. You've got a lot of individual people buying in, but they want to get rich quick. And that's something I hear a lot with the these new type of miners coming out. And these guys on YouTube that are pumping, saying, you can make so much money with this miner, you can make so much with this, but they don't really tout what it is about. You know, I know we as in our group here, we jumped in some miners too because they were touted. And if you didn't jump in and buy them, the frenzy was already created by these YouTubers. And then you couldn't get it. So if it was something good, you wouldn't be able to get it for months, like the helium miners, right? Oh, by the way, a side announcement, our company, DeFi ELT Latin America, we were the first helium miners to establish or go on air in Ecuador. Hey, that's like landing on the moon almost. Now there's some others popping up too. So we're going to be in a little competition down here, just developing a network as well as developing the iHub Global Network. And that's something that the iHub Global Network and their promoting has done, as well as they've exposed a lot of people to it. Some people don't want just what they're going to be paid, because really if you just buy a device or you receive a device for free from iHub, you're going to make somewhere to $60 to $80 a month, give or take, with once everything's established and so forth. Maybe in the beginning you might make more, and some of you make more than that, but in the average you're going to make $60 to $80 a month. And somebody's going to be that person that's going to only have one hotspot. Somebody's got to be the person at the end of the line. And so that kind of shuns people away. I would encourage iHub maybe to think about that payment structure in the pro team to be a little bit higher, so you can then have people that, instead of wanting to go out and get their own hotspots and put them in and plug them in and make $400 on their hotspot, I invested in light of making $60 to $80 on a hotspot. I would think that maybe iHub could do something a little better about that, about their pro level. If you build a team up, that's fine. You can make a lot of money in iHub, but somebody's got to be that last person. So I think there should be a little more incentive in that. So in Ecuador, DeFi IoT Latin America was the first one to establish a helium miner in the country of Ecuador. And now there are 6 others further down in the south. So congratulations. They are Bobcat miners, by the way. And so let's jump back. Remember we mentioned last week, you also have this move towards a digital market, right? Please don't confuse digital currencies with cryptocurrencies. Remember, there's a difference between the two. Digital is controlled by the institutions that make it. Their systems control it. They can KYC, they figure everything out. They know from A to Z everything. They control whether you move it or don't move it. In crypto, where it's encrypted, the virtual market is very different. In the essence of, if you're on a platform that's not KYC, that's decentralized, there's a lot of privacy. Yeah, your movement, the amounts of movement, where it goes as far as a number wallet, where it leads from as a number, but your identity is secured. And there's no control for that. You can move it when you want to, 24/7. Digital currencies will have the flexibility of being more, the hours, I should say, will be more flexible than they have in the traditional banking industry. But they're still going to be able to say whether you can move or not move it, and have you ask why. Remember, if they own your currency, they have your keys. And if they have your keys, they have your currency. In decentralized crypto, you hold your keys. That means you determine when you want to move your money. If you want to do it at 2 o'clock in the morning, you can do that. That's decentralized crypto, in brief. So we jump into now more countries. Zimbabwe is now considering instituting cryptocurrency, which is Bitcoin, as a currency of the land. I better keep my glasses on because I want to read a little bit of this to you. Here we go. Various countries across the world have let it be known that they are considering following El Salvador's lead. And by the way, El Salvador is growing in success. Contrary to what some people are saying, due to the agendas there, opposition parties, you've got your central banks, you got your World Bank, amongst others, FATF, those that don't want cryptocurrency to be outside of their control are definitely melded in there, riling some people up to go against the whole movement, what Bukele is trying to do in El Salvador. Now, I'm not so sure building this huge pet hospital with theater room in El Salvador with the proceeds that they made over $400 million since Bitcoin rose is such a good idea. I think that actually kind of is actually poking a hole in the foundation and believing in Bukele's future or his ideas and what the future can hold for Bitcoin in El Salvador. That's not a good thing. We don't feel here at DeFi IoT Latin America. However, we do see some success. We see thousands of people going on board in the system. Businesses still are lacking to some degree, but that takes time. That's a transition, and that'll take time, and they're growing. And if as long as they're going onto the Bitcoin platform that El Salvador has established there, then it will grow over time. But right now, Salvador, you can look at El Salvador as a success. I have some concerns though, and we're going to get into that. So you have Zimbabwe. They have the minister, the finance minister, if I pronounce this right, Mutil Nakub, right? It is believed that they could reduce the cost of remittances amongst other advantages, like El Salvador did too, right? Here we go. Look at this. Panama, Paraguay, and Mexico have already made positive noises in relation to the possible acceptance of Bitcoin as a currency in their countries. Now, I'm not talking about digital. Remember, there are these banks, Brazil, you got Peru, Colombia, and others. I'm not mistaken, Mexico and others. China's going to roll out by 2022 their digital currency. It's very different than a cryptocurrency. So remember that. So we're talking about digital currencies. It's not cryptocurrency. It's centralized and it's controlled. Cryptocurrency needs to maintain decentralized. However, Coinbase and others are actually centralizing, which is going to make it a little more difficult for us in the future. We won't have quite the privacy that we had today, and brings up a difficulty. However, I don't think it's going anywhere. Let's keep going here. Look. So cryptocurrencies, and the reason I say it's not going anywhere is, here's another example right now. We jump back up to the top of this article. Blockchain brings the sharing economy to real estate investing. Blockchain brings the sharing economy to the real estate investing. All right, so let's jump down here. Initial fractional offering. As previously reported by Cointelegraph, Fraction, a subsidiary of Hong Kong fintech firm Fraction Group, received regulatory approval from Thailand Securities and Exchange Commission to trade tokens representing fractional ownership of physical and digital assets. So, where are they going with this? Selling fractional ownership of real estate in cryptocurrencies now. So there's a positive. But all this means more regulation. Let's go. Let's keep moving on. Here's something that's kind of cool, but also means more regulation. Zoid Pay lets shoppers buy with crypto on Amazon, eBay, and 40 million online retailers now. To go online November 1st. Look at this. Zoid Pay has announced the launch of its Chrome extension, allowing millions of users to shop using various cryptocurrencies with all online merchants across the world. So cryptocurrencies going mainstream. That's inevitable. And that's why the government's got to do something to get on board, because fiat currencies are being devalued. And there is evidence that they are forcing the devaluation intentionally to force people to go digital, where they can control our assets more. And therefore force, in that digital world, force regulation where they can also manipulate the crypto market and limit to what we can actually invest in and not invest in if we are not in credit investors. Keep going with Zoid Pay. Zoid Pay, the Chrome extension platform, agnostic, letting shoppers connect to it using a digital wallet. Here we go. See, it's a digital wallet. Currently being rolled out in phases. The Chrome extension will be available globally in November 2021. Not November 1st, but November, I'm sorry. It promises to bridge the gap between making crypto adoption mainstream. So basically what you're going to have, if you look into this, it's a crypto wallet. It's a digital wallet. So it's going to take crypto and it's going to turn into a digital asset. So really, is Amazon or Amazon and these other companies going to accept crypto, or are they going to accept the digital? And that's the question here. And so it appears as if, to my understanding, that they're not going to accept crypto. They're going to accept digital. So it's not like they're not accepting cryptocurrencies. It's just this app is going to make it so that you can use cryptocurrencies, change it to digital, and that digital will be accepted on with 40 million plus retailers, online retailers throughout the world. So let's clarify that, okay? What's that mean for us, though, is that means that crypto will be more widely accepted. Okay, so that's a positive there. Here we go. Facebook. Now, here's what concerns me. Watch this. You have Twitter, you have Facebook. Now, let's back up a little bit. Between Twitter, Facebook, Google, you have a huge censorship going on for the last year. It's not deniable. People cannot deny that. There's censorship going on, and many people are suffering from it. Those of you who don't see that, get out of the crypto world because you don't belong in here. Because this is something we fight against is centralization. But watch who's jumping on now. We have Twitter, okay, the CEO of Twitter. Now we're going to go with a favorite friend of mine here, Mark Zuckerman. I'm lying about that, by the way. I wouldn't claim him as a friend if you paid me to. I guess. Anyway, Facebook touts jobs in the EU to build metaverse. What is metaverse? Well, let's go down here. So Facebook is going to go into Europe, and they're bringing in 10,000, looking for 10,000 employees to develop software to expand this whole new program of metaverse. And they want it to be decentralized, right? So echoing the blog post, Facebook's global business group vice president, Nicola Mendelscholson, I can't pronounce that word, told Bloomberg in the video interview that 10,000 highly skilled jobs are really, for us, going to put Europeans at the heart of our plans for a future community. How nice. They're putting the people at the heart of their plans. Mendelschon, I think I got it right this time, also asserted that no single company will own metaverse. It's going to be like the internet, she says. The key feature will be openness and interpolability, she said. The sentiment stands in stark contrast to the reputation Facebook has had for years. Now, it's not just me saying that. Here's a report on Blockworks, right? As a centralized walled garden. So let's go back up here. What do we want to do here? The metaverse has a potential to help unlock access to new creative, social, and economic opportunities, and Europeans will be shaping it right from the start. Well, you're going to be shaping it because they're going to tell you how to shape it. So you're right, you're shaping it, but you're not actually having the input to shape it. Zuckerman and company are going to tell you how to shape it because, they have a history of censorship and not bipartisanship, if you will, in any way. They're very partisan and have an agenda. So here we go. We have all these regulations coming in. FATF, SEC, World Bank, Davos Group, and they're behind a lot of this. They're a supercomputer they want to build that's going to control the internet and therefore take control of blockchain. You have the corporate, you have these tech giants coming in now to overtake because they know they're going to get smashed out by DeFi and blockchain if they don't do something about it and get on board. Bill Gates even said a few years ago that we cannot deny blockchain. We have to embrace it. It's the future. And it is the future. But whether it's going to be decentralized or not is going to be determined whether we allow it to be or not. So if we run in there thinking, oh, it's digital. Oh, yeah, great. We're all crypto now. Our country's gone crypto. Think twice. It's not digital. It's worse because now you don't have anything in your hands. You have nothing to hold for, at least with a paper or gold. You have something in your hands. Well, you say, well, in crypto, you don't have anything in your hands either. Sure, I do. I got it in my wallet. I got my cold wallet. My cold wallet I have in my hands. And therefore, I can move that when I want to. Digital, you're not going to have that. You have an app wallet. And that's not going to ever go into your hands. Mark my words on that. You will never have control of your digital currencies. They will always be maintained by the institutions or the governments. Mark my word on that. So here we go. Is this good or bad for crypto? Well, it tells you one thing. Crypto's not going anywhere. It's going to be regulated. It's going to be much more difficult in DeFi, but it's not going anywhere. So that's a positive. Let's jump on here. Here we go. Showing exactly what the regulation is going to do. Now, here's all the regulators coming in. You got something that's a little more decentralized, right? And gives some a foundation to crypto trading. But shame on you for doing that because you're not centralized. Tether gets fined $41 million for misleading claims that it was a fully backed by fiat and not by bonds. Well, here it just shows the lack of intelligence in the governments. Now, they're backed by bonds, mostly government bonds, right? You're going to have government bonds in there. These bonds support the economy. So what's Tether going to do then? Well, I guess they're going to abandon bonds so they become more vulnerable. And guess what else becomes more vulnerable? The fiat that those bonds backed. So there is no rhyme or reason. This is a pure attack and control. Come on, people, use your intelligence. God gave you a good brain to use. So we ask that everybody see through the writing, see through the advertisement, if you will, the sale they're trying to give us. Tether gets slapped for saying they misclaimed that they were only backed by fiat. Well, essentially, a bond is of a value, and you could actually claim it as a fiat because you're giving money with a promise to get interest, and you're going to get that back. It's not like it's real estate or some sort of hard asset. So you could actually consider a bond to be a type of fiat. So they're not really lying there. They're not really misleading at all. But you got the SEC. Well, actually, you have more than this. It's not the SEC. You have a Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the CFTC, right? So you have those that they govern basically CBOT, the Chicago Board of Options Trading. So they're coming down, which we knew that would happen as soon as they got involved. They're going to go back now and slap USDT, USDC, and Tether to try to make them so they are not something that we can use. So here we go. Big government's coming in. More regulation. Well, here is some relief. Cirus Foundation sees the need to not monitor, if you will, to not to allow a more free market on the internet and in the cloud. So Cirus, here we go, Cirus. Identifying the root problems. The blackout for Facebook and all the Facebook-owned social medias showed some flaws, right? Here's what Cirus wants to come in, and they're saying, here's the root problem. Users do not own their own data. Now listen to this. We're talking about Facebook. We're talking about WhatsApp. We're talking about Instagram. User data is primary product of social media titans like Facebook and Google that accumulate, right? They sell and rely on to drive earnings. So they rely on our data. Yet the users have little say in how it's used. As seen with the Cambridge Analytica scandal, sometimes data is even used for nefarious purposes without users' consent or knowledge. So it goes on to talk about the platform is a central figure, right? So corporations will always put profits ahead of welfare and the user. There's our problem with all these corporations coming in, especially Facebook at all, right? They are in control of everything related to the platform usage, including digital currencies. So users can be removed or deplatformed or your money taken. That's our word, but that is proof. Or demonetized on a whim with little recourse explanation and not being able to defend yourself, meaning little recourse. The platform relies on single points of failure. There is a massive secondary economic infrastructure built on these centralized systems with several potential single points of failure, which is exactly what is behind Facebook's mishap. Billions of dollars in value every day is riding on the faith that these platforms stay online. So we're relying on somebody and their political agenda or a group of somebodies to then control our economic futures versus in decentralized crypto market, we are the community. We spread that out amongst ourselves. We police ourselves. I'd much rather have a global republic than I would a centralized ownership of my financial future. New problems require new solutions. So taking a novel, multi-layered approach and developing decentralized internet solutions, the Cirus Foundation believes the task starts with the idea of data ownership and monetization. From the beginning, users will have some control of their data and be compensated directly for it. Now, I'm not saying that they will not take private data. Cirus Foundation, in fact, we're on the waiting list to be able to get one of these data miners. And they will take data, but apparently they're going to ask permission. It's going to be permission data mining, basically is what it comes down to. As an internet router, the Cirus device collects data from all devices connected to the internet in the household. So they're going to take personal data. And that includes even your printer, by the way. Your printer also holds data in it. Even though you don't think that, that's got a memory in there that holds data. The developer designed the device to be able to retain even more browser data than that collected by Facebook, Google, or other third-party media platforms. This means that even in the case of major outages, Cirus customers can still have access to this data and can never accidentally be lost. Cirus devices will also serve to support decentralized data storage, connecting users and nodes in a giant self-efficient network with records transparently accounted for on the blockchain. So basically what Cirus is saying is that, look, we're going to mine your data. We're telling you to mine your data, but you have some control over that data we're going to mine. I guess that's a little more security. We're on the witness to get one of these. I'm going to try one of these out. So we'll let you know when it comes down. So let's summarize this up. My time's running out. I know that. El Salvador, as we talked about, news from El Salvador, mid-October, Bitcoin earnings, Impel Hospital, motorcycles, etc. There's, you've got some, even here, look, it says here, time to check back with El Salvador. The Bitcoin experiment is well and underway, and it's already growing, showing results. Are these results positive or negative? Well, you be the judge. We'll just present the facts, the tweets, the photos, etc. Well, you got to know those facts and tweets and photos. A lot of those, as they say here, can you believe everything that people were quoting or say? Can you believe everything that people were quoting say? Of course not. Everyone has an agenda. However, a clear picture is emerging. And it's only been a month and a half since Bitcoin became legal tender in El Salvador. And that clear picture is actually showing very positive results. All right, to sum up here, Bitcoin's biggest whales are in decline. Look down here at the bottom. In brief, the number of Bitcoin whales holding 10,000 BTC or more has hit the lowest point since 2012. Bitcoin whales holding 100 to 1,000 BTC have multiplied over the past 5 months. Bitcoin has steadily been adopted by a number of institutions worldwide this year. You see, we'll go back to the financial institutions that are buying Bitcoin. So you're having more smaller whales, I would say, coming into the market. But are those smaller whales, or are those governments, and are those banks and so forth coming into the Bitcoin market? Well, that's yet to be seen. And I would bank the fact that those are not necessarily individual holders. Okay? What does concern me here is this idea of these financial institutions holding more Bitcoin. What can happen? And this is what I think is going to happen. I hope not. But I think let's go with what could possibly happen now. If by some chance we try to maintain DeFi, or other countries try to pop up and put Bitcoin in, and you have all these financial institutions that are all collectively in the same boat, and they're all run by the governments, and they want to smash out that new country that's coming out, like Zimbabwe, for example. They just sell off. They make money selling off. They make money selling off and dropping it to rebuy it again later. But in the meantime, the money invested by that country is lost. Therefore, they have no money to restart again. So therefore, with these institutions coming in, buying up, and this regulation will allow them to buy this up, that's scary for us. And that's why we need to maintain decentralized finance. We need to maintain a market niche in blockchain and maintain the community control, this republic, global republic, us maintaining in control of blockchain. Otherwise, they can manipulate where cryptocurrencies go. Will they get rid of it completely? No. But will they allow us to profit as we have profited in the past? No, they won't allow us to profit. They're going to take that. They're going to make sure they get that. They want that for themselves. Greed is an evil monster and has always dominated history. And here's an example why. New York businesses seek to ask the governor to deny permits for crypto mining. Let's read this a little bit here. New York State Governor Kathy Hochul has been asked by a group of local businesses to deny permits for converting the city's fossil fuel powered plants into crypto mining centers. The request comes in the form of a letter co-signed by a number of organizations, business, and labor groups. Now look at this. Isn't that kind of funny? The policing isn't necessarily going to be your politicians. Now, with enough infiltration of fake news, telling different scenarios and making Bitcoin mining look like it's so anti-environment, which is not true. Electricity is funny because they're saying, well, it's electricity. Electricity is derived from our fossil fuels, but they're not bashing on Las Vegas. They're not bashing on Bangkok. They're not bashing on Beijing. You've ever been there, seen the lights? There's a lot of electricity flowing through there. And they're not bashing on Elon Musk's whole electrical car industry. And they're actually saying that by 2030, 2035, we have to have electrical cars. In fact, Governor Newsom, the governor who just somehow, was able to pull off another vote by paper and stay in office, just came out and said that by the next 2 years, you cannot have gas-powered lawnmowers nor chainsaws. So that's electric. So they're bashing on electricity usage, but yet they're also the ones implementing that we're going to have to use more electricity, saying we're going to have alternative sources, but they don't have those alternative sources. They're eliminating one to bring in some future new that they don't really have a plan for yet. And that's going to mean blackouts. So be careful and be prepared for that. We'll talk more on that another time. Here we go. So back here in New York, basically what's happening, the people don't want the crypto mining, and they're coming out and saying it's going to be bad for our environment. So the new governor, which is not any different than the prior governor really, is coming in saying, basically there's no decision yet made, but it's not looking like they're going to give those permits or they're going to have a lot of backlash for it. When essentially they can mine Bitcoin and actually help out with poverty. And look, a lot of these rules, a lot of these new implementations of these bannings, who do they affect? They affect the poor people and actually people of race and of color. So they are not benefiting. They thought they're all about pro-environment, but it's not about the environment. It's about control. Here we find the truth. We look for it. Now, this is a little side note. Even though Bitcoin and Ethereum are up and blasting, Phantom actually beat them. Can you believe this? The whole Phantom project beat Bitcoin and ETH since October 1st and their rise of value. That's a whole nother subject we'll talk on. I just thought it was a cute little point to put in there that everybody looks at Bitcoin and Ethereum as the daddies, but you have altcoins that are actually starting to outpace the more stable coins, which is good. We need that separation. We need each one of them to have their value based on what solution they bring to decentralized market, right? Or even a centralized market, but they have to bring a solution to what the people need. And I'm going to finish with this. What are our picks for the week? What are we looking at? Well, Polygon's one of them, right? Polygon is definitely one that we're looking at. We can go back here to, we can look at Polygon. We're going to look at Polkadot. Polkadot's also one that we're very bullish on. And you know, a sleeper right now, Cardano. Cardano's a sleeper. We're still bullish on Cardano. DeFi, IoT, Latin America. We're here to bring you the truth. We're going to give you the truth. We're going to give you what we feel through our experiences, how it affects us, how it's affected us in the past, so that you can see through the facade, see through the smoke and the mirrors. Please, if you like what we do for you, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell. So every time we release a video, which we have a few a week, we release 2, 3, 4, depends on what's going on in the market and where we're moving, because we also are invested in the actual infrastructures that we are promoting. So we are not, and I should say that, not in the way of conflict of interest. We do our research. We found this to be what we think is going to be profitable in the future, and for any type of economic downturns in the future where we can actually maintain existence and support our team. And that's what I mean by we're invested in it. And that's why we promote it, because we've done our homework. Now, don't take our word for it. Do your homework. Give us a thumbs up. Send us a message, if you will. Write something to us. We want to hear from you. DeFi, IoT, Latin America. We'll be back with another one soon.